Question number 15 here is looking at cumulative frequency, and the first part of the question asks us to complete the cumulative frequency table. Now, we know that cumulative frequency means a running total, so in the first group of 0 to 1 we have 19, so that's going to be our grand total so far. We now keep these 19, and as we enter into the second group we include the 17 that come with the second group, so we now have 19 add 17, so we're now at 36. We carry on this process, so this time we're now going to add 15 to our total, so that takes us to 51. We're then going to add 12 to our total, so that takes us to 63. 10 to our total, taking us to 73, and then finally 7 to our total, taking us to 80. It's always worth checking that the final value you have should correspond to the number given in the question, and it says up here one day the company delivered 80 parcels. Part B then says, on the opposite grid, which we'll move on to now, draw the cumulative frequency graph for your table. The thing to remember with this is we're going to be plotting the end of each group with the cumulative frequency, and we're going to be joining them up with a nice neat curve. Always remember, cumulative frequency is a running total by the time you get to the end of each category, and that's why we plot it at the end of each of the groups. So if we now move on to plotting this, we're going to use these values and we're going to plot them one at a time. So our first value, if you look back to the table you've just constructed, the end is 1 and the number of deliveries was 19. So we're going to plot that in there as neatly as we can. The next group ends then at 2, and we have 36 deliveries. So at 2 we're going to go up to 36. So let's see if we can read this carefully using this graph paper. It looks like it's going to be about there. For the next group ending at 3 we're up to 51. So that's there. Next group ending at 4 we're up to 63. So let's use our ruler here because this is running the risk of getting a little bit inaccurate. So we're up to, 63, 61, 62, 63. Our penultimate group finishes at 5, and we're now up to 73, 71, 72, 73. And then our final group finishing at 6 takes us up to the value of 80 deliveries. We then need to, as neatly as we can, making sure that we hit all of the points, construct a nice smooth curve. The final part of the question then has a statement from Sue, which goes on to say that Sue says 75% of all of the parcels weigh less than 3.4 kilograms. Is she correct? So using our cumulative frequency graph, we're going to start on the x-axis with 3.4, and we're going to, using our ruler as accurately as we can, draw up to where we meet our cumulative frequency curve, and then we're going to go across and we're going to read this value off of the y-axis. We can find when we've done that this value comes out at 56 parcels. So what we now know is that 56 out of the 80 parcels weighed less than 3.4 kilograms. Let's now turn that into a percentage. So 56 out of 80 would be the same as 28 out of 40, which would be the same as 14 out of 20, which would be the same as 7 out of 10. To turn this into a percentage, I'm going to multiply it by 10, because there's 10 tens in 100%, which gives me 70%. So my final answer, is Sue correct? No, because 70% of the parcels weighed less than that.